right, Darren, what glad tidings do you have for us today?
Well, the digging is completed at landfill. Last Tuesday, we got our CQA done, and I have not found out the results of that yet. I will find out today how that went, and find out if the results have made it to KDHE. What I'm waiting on is approval from KDHE. If the CQA went okay, then once KDHE, I had Mike Selm out there 2 weeks ago. He's the permit manager at KDHE. He looked the site over. It wasn't done yet, but I asked him if he was going to come out for a final approval. He said he didn't know. He said he doubted it. He'd probably go off the CQA, which once he calls and says, okay, you can use it, I can go to using the bit. But I can't use it until
you get
final okay. And on that matter, I would like to, if we could, go into executive session for 15 minutes.
For what purpose?
To discuss non-elected personnel.
I make motion to put in executive session for 15 minutes for non-elected personnel.
Second that.
Okay, it's been moved and second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried. We're in executive session for non-elected personnel for 15 minutes.
Okay,
And I would ask Terracon for an itemized.
Absolutely.
Because that's pretty ridiculous.
I'm wondering if we ought to discuss that with Joe a little bit, Terracon too. I mean, this whole thing's starting to really smell.
Well, when you got two total different stories on that.
Somebody's not telling you the truth, and that's even worse than the other deal.
Yeah. Or dollar wise, yeah.
I'm thinking so.
The two questions I have, Darren, was e-waste, or we're just going to haul it to Hutch, and then also the other thing on recycling. Do you take hardbound books?
No, I don't, because the only thing we can recycle is softbound. Phone books or novels, softback books. Hardback books, I think if the person could tear the hardback off, you could probably recycle.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the paper part. I did do away with the aluminum can bin on the trailer inside for the stars, got the trailer there.
Yeah.
And the cardboard is always just going to
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, recycling, is there anything recycling as far as tires? I've read them, I think Mark Tribune reading it there that are talking about they had so many tires that they just had recycled up there, they were taken somewhere. Of course, they had 2.5 tons of e-waste, it's taken up to Rice County. That's where you're still taking yours, is that right?
I haven't taken none anywhere since they started charging for $200.
Yeah, they talked about that. There said they said they had first said they had some cars that they decided to go into a recycle place. So I don't know whether it's got somebody you take and recycle them. I'd just like to check into it, see.
That'd be real nice.
Where was that?
Park County.
Park County.
We'll call it up there. That's
Sure, that would be nice, because I mean, we spend a lot of money on tires, and I've shopped around and can't find nowhere any cheaper to dispose of them. So.
You might call it that place.
Okay, Darren, let us know.
Okay. I will set a meeting Monday for the contract.
Steve?
Hey, let me know if you can come or not, I'll try to have Joe here.
Okay. Will do.
This should ready this up on radio. And what that is just the summation of what we actually have there is we just have some repeaters. We have we have a repeater. What that is, our primary radio channel is VHF, or UHF is not compliant, or will not be compliant with the changeover. It is important to have that alternate channel for us to be able to communicate with our neighbors. Plus, in an emergency, if our other one would go down, we at least have something to communicate with. And that one's been pretty problem-free. We're still waiting on getting the other two fixed, so they're supposed to be waiting on parts. But this
Is this going to affect the first of the year, or what?
no, I don't think it's the first of the year. It's probably shortly after the first of the year. But what this proposal here proposes is that we buy some Minotaur pagers to replace some of the ones that will not be compliant. They're pretty old too. We prefer to go with them versus a radio. You can kind of see the price of the radio, which for fire, we could go with something a little less expensive than the HD 1250. We're proposing to get that one HD 1250 because one of the volunteers lost one. So, and that was a state provided radio, and so I really feel like we should have it if they would stop by and check and say, where's all the radios we get?
How did you lose it?
I don't know, just working and it's gone.
When it's out in, out
High and low.
yeah, when it's out in the field, also in
Yeah.
the field, okay.
So the pager actually works much better too. But for EMS, you know, we could maybe look at pagers for them too, but they need to respond back, and they have to have a radio. I could give them a pager too, but then it gets real pricey when they're carrying it. When they have both. Yes.
Would you need both?
Well, you wouldn't be as likely probably to lose a pager as you would a radio, because you just leave it on your belt. Or the radio, you might have a tendency to take it off your belt and sit it down, or on top of your hood, or on your tailgate or something. And I'm not sure if that's how said radio became missing, or how it became missing, but it's much easier to lose a radio. It is rather bulky to carry around all day long. So that's six page, or let's see, the pagers, 6 pagers, a repeater, and the one radio.
And one radio.
And this would come out of one of our capital lines, where there's sufficient funds plenty of sufficient funds to cover that.
Okay, the radio is,
748.
We're coming over here, everything's gonna come from that side there, plus
from
CDS.
TDS Electronics?
Yeah, CDS is actually gonna do the repeater. TDS Electronics
Is
is
doing
gonna
the-
do the pagers and the one radio,
How much is the radio?
$740. That's the one radio.
Oh,
This
the
repeater
pages
goes
are
over per-
356 each.
Yes. And then we go ahead and recommend, go ahead and get the 2-year extended warranty on the pagers also.
Okay, so your
This
total
one
price
puts in-
down here is the 2,884,
For everything but the,
plus the 1926.28
Which
for
would be
4810.28.
That's correct.
I'll say, is this the one, see, that's,
no, we're still waiting on that one, plus the one Seward.
where's this
for-
repeater at?
This is a repeater that is on the water tower at Stafford. The,
There's
The little
something, there's
repeaters.
something wrong with it?
it's not compliant. The one at Seward and the one at Zenith have had problems. It's not a compliance issue, it's just problems. Those are like a little mini repeater, a little booster of a voter system. And it just picks up the signal and then boosts it over to the repeater. But we have not had real great luck. They're not that old, but yet we're waiting around on parts. I'm not sure why we have such a long, I'm a little disappointed that we'd have such a long time
Been a long
to
time
wait.
over there.
And you've been working on this in spring, right?
Yes.
Or earlier than that even?
It's the first of the year.
It just seems like, I think it's almost time to maybe call the next people up in the Motorola chain.
I think that's a long time.
I wouldn't.
God.
Well,
long
this is,
time.
I mean, this is emergency services area.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's not like it's,
Not like a CB radio crew.
yeah.
They were just chatting. So this will get us, the only thing that we'll have after this is, of course, to fix those 2 radios that we have in trouble with, the little voters. And then we'll have to do some programming issues with some of ours and TJ can take care of that.
But this is, you're using the monies from that,
Now, these are separate. This is just out of our capital fund. This is no longer we bought some radios with those other funds, which was the last time we
and
met.
that's already been done.
That's exhausted.
Okay. And, but then you bought those radios. And
Yes,
this is on top of that.
yes.
And you got a record of who all got the radios now, right?
Yes.
one time it was easy.
I got some twine, if you wanna tie it around them and around their neck, maybe that.
At a time, Jim.
This will be EMS capital
Fire.
fire.
Fire. Yes, fire. Well, that one's EMS.
The
The radio is EMS, isn't
I
it?
was gonna put from,
Yeah. Yeah, if we wanted to be exact, the HD 1250 portable radio is actually an EMS radio.
I'll just put from each.
That is the proposal.
Okay.
I think I understand it all. Well, I guess I'm confused by the, not
So
confused.
who are you buying these from then?
It'd be TDS Electronics out of, mobile radio is out of Great Bend, TDS Electronics is out of Topeka.
So you're
We
buying,
can buy the products anywhere we want, and we could actually send everything back to TBS. It's not very cost effective to do that on something like a boater, you know, it's just too far for them to come, and we wouldn't know how to take it out. So some things we have to have mobile radio work on, and we can't get CDS, they have an exclusive on that, so we can't get CDS to do all of it. I wish we would have done all of our equipment through CDS, but we didn't. So
what's a CDS then? That's,
CDS is,
Seth Pratt, right?
yes. And that's Mike Tip, is it Tibbetts?
Tibbetts.
Tibbetts. Mike Tibbetts. Okay, really good luck with Mike.
So, these repeaters, how many repeaters do we have? Just explain the system to me just a little bit.
Well, we have, and I'm not real versed on it either, I wish I brought TV on that. We have voters at Seward, we have voters at, we have a voter at Zenith, we have a voter at Hudson, and then we have, I believe we have a VHF and a UHF at Stafford. And so that boosts the signal.
What do we have in St. John or Maxwell?
Or maybe not at Stafford, the one is in here at St. John, the repeater here for the VHF. And so, you know, we've talked about doing away with even our voter out there at Zenith, but we have it, so it kind of made sense, you know, it'd be pretty expensive, you know, to move it, especially up on Stafford's water tower. So we just decided to stay with what we had, but we sure haven't had any luck in getting parts or getting it fixed. So right now we have the VHF that's here. We have the UHF that's over at Stafford. And since the VHF, that's a long ways for it, then what we've done is we've set up voters, and they're little boosters that kind of boost the signal in Hudson, Seward, and Zenith. And so that just kind of boosts the signal over here to pick up, the VHF to pick it up. So you either go that way or you go with another repeater. That's Stafford. It would probably solve that, but I think it was probably a less expensive route to go. Plus, if it worked great, it was close by too. You know, probably closer, and you wouldn't sending it out as far. You know, if you had one in Hudson, Seward, and Zenith, you'd have them closer too. Closer to the folks that was beyond those borders even. Wouldn't get beyond those borders on the east of Zenith, but Hudson, if they're in the Quebec area, you could even get beyond that.
Well, are we gonna have to deal with this as far as being in compliance with the one here in St. John as well?
No, that one's compliant. Everything should be compliant once we've done this right here, and that's only the repeater that we're dealing with. The pagers that we just need additional pagers because of old ones not being compliant or out. The only issue that we could have is if we just can't get any resolution on the voters, then we have to go a different route with the other repeater. We had to add a repeater to make up for the two voters that we can't get working. Hopefully that's not the issue.
Need a motion for this?
Yes.
Okay, I move that we. You want to approve this?
Yeah, so I guess just, and it's choice, I guess, you,
It doesn't look like we do. I understand everything he's saying. Okay, this bottom figure, is this what you want?
4,810.
Okay, I move that we approve the purchase of, we got radios and pagers with a total sum of $4,810.28.
I second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded, all in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried.
The only thing I'd need, like, would be a signature down there, I think, from Mike and his one to proceed with the work. Thank you.
Alrighty.
Oh, you're
We're 3 minutes late.
okay. Hey guys,
Great.
happy Monday on the holiday. Well, I went ahead and requested a self-funded quote, as we talked about last week. And on the right side is kind of a summary of those numbers. And the other collateral that matches up with these numbers is also here. The benefit grid is basically the exact same benefits I showed you before. I just didn't put rates on here because but it's the same benefits as what we talked about before. The $500 deductible, $1,000 co-insurance, and then a $25 office visit copay. So this is a triple option, which is option 1 is a $500 deductible per person, $1,000 per family. Option 2 is a $1,000 deductible per person, $2,000 per family, and option 3 is a $1,500 deductible, $3,000 per family. All other benefits are the same, so they all have the same co-insurance, same copay, same RX card. So the only thing different of the 3 options is the deductible on each one. And I went ahead and figured as if everybody enrolled in the $500 option. So because we don't know, since you're not currently on a triple type option, we don't know what option levels people would enroll in. So all of my funds are based on them being the most expensive option or the best benefit. And if that changed, these numbers would change to the, they would go down based on the number of people that go into the lower cost options. But this is the most dollar out of pocket scenario for the county, is if they all went into this number 1 option. But they have the option of choosing 1, 2, or 3. Or you can just pick option 1 and say this is the option we're going with, everybody's in that option. Or option 2, everybody's going into that option. And if everybody chose to go, if you chose to just select option 2, these numbers would go down over here on the final cost because we put everybody in that option and it would bring the cost down because it would be figured on the lower dollar amount. And I ran these numbers just to kind of summarize it. And then this is figured on a $30,000 individual stop loss. And it's figured with a fixed claims administrative expense. The dental is outside of the stop loss, but it is, the dental is within stop loss, that's a typo. The dental is included in your stop loss on this plan. And it is 125%. So all of this includes dental, health, everything is included in this. And the claims expenses figured in here for the dental and the health and the dental fixed costs and the claims expense both are in that. I did some comparison just to see where that would put us compared to what you're currently on. And the first page shows our proposed rates, and that includes dental and life. And then option 1 is on your current carrier, you had a $30,000, that option one was a $30,000 stop loss, and option two is a $40,000. So our option one is the $30,000. The option one of your current and our 2012 is what looks the same. And we're about 10,000 under on max funding. But when you look at, there's, all of our costs are included. You have no, one thing that was not included in your cost is it says on your contract that dental is outside. Let's see. Down at the bottom of the page that you had, RX claims administration fee is not included in the above. So that is, do you know what your RX administration for? Typically anywhere from 60 cents to $1.
Ours is
$1 per script. So for every prescription written, and the average that we see on our book of business is about 2.5 prescriptions per contract per month. So you know that that's an outside cost, that's included in ours. It's not an outside on yours. All of our utilization management programs come with this. So this is all one card. They have one card that they show for health, dental, drug, everything is all included in the one card. So when they go to the doctor's office or when they go to get a prescription filled, our utilization management programs are integrated so that things like our care management, when you're nursing care, if we see a patient that's taking too much acetaminophen, because there's acetaminophen in a lot of different drugs, if that type of thing hits off of the system, to talk to the doctor to say, are you aware that you've got 3 doctors prescribing acetaminophen for the same patient in different drugs, and that he's taking too much. Those type of things are all included in this. The way our stop loss works is one thing that's different about ours is that this is on a 12/30 basically. You're on a 12/12 on the aggregate and 12/15 on the specific. So you have some hidden costs that you could face because if you have any claims that come in outside of 15 months, then those are outside of stop loss. So you wouldn't have stop loss protection on those claims, whereas ours, you're not protected on stop loss the entire time. We also, a benefit of ours is our claims are paid, we pay our claims up front, and we file we are our own stop loss carrier, so you don't have to file any kind of stop loss paperwork. We pay the claim and apply it to your stop loss, and you don't have, we do the claims reporting ourselves for the stop loss, so you don't have to file the paperwork to get reimbursement from the stop loss. We pay the claims up front, and then we bill you. And then you pay us and reimburse us for the claims you paid out. Most of the time, it works that they bill you for the claims, you pay them, then they pay the provider. So we pay the provider and get everything taken care of, so it's more seamless to them, to ensure they don't have to wait, aren't getting as many doctor billings because they haven't received claims payment. And a lot of times, it's a hassle for customers, patients, oops, because they're waiting on the claim to be paid by the insurance carrier, and they're getting billed by the doctor and facing hassles from the doctor because things aren't paid. We pay up front. 87% of our claims go through first pass pay, which means they hit the system, they pay, and they're out because if they're filed electronically and there's not that additional lag time. Our average is to pay within 3 days. I'm trying to think of some other things that maybe do. Oh, our dental benefit, your dental benefit currently has a $500 per person max. Ours is a $1,500. So our dental rate, you're getting a little bit better benefit this versus what you're getting currently under your current dental plan. And that's our standard comp dental plan. It's 100% on preventive and cleanings and exams. And then after that, they pay a $25 deductible, and then it's 80% on fillings, simple extractions. They pay 20, we pay 80. and then we pay 50% on major services. And up to 1,500 per benefit period per person, and we currently have a 500 benefit period per person. So this is including a better drug benefit, or dental benefit, excuse me. What questions do you have?
Is the RX about the same?
I believe, I didn't ever get a copy of your RX. Based on what your current benefits are, I think we have 15, 30, 45 on ours, and I think you might have had a 10, 30, which so it's similar, and they're gonna pay the lesser of the charge. So if it's a $9 generic, they're gonna pay $9. If it's a $40 generic, they'll pay $15. I think what I saw on your benefits was that it was a, our first $1,000 of the accidents paid at 100%, you currently have $500 accident paid at 100%. Eye exams are covered under the offices of copay. The grid that I have on your drugs doesn't include the RX on my information. Michelle, do you know what your current drug coverage is?
80%,
80/20.
Oh, it's
It's a
80.
flat 80/20.
Yeah. Oh, then we have, this is a much nicer for the members, because it's a 15, 30, 45, so they don't have their exposure. They know exactly what they're gonna pay every month. If they take this prescription, they're gonna pay, if it's a brand name, it's $30 a month, and if it's a maintenance drug, so it's something that you take for a chronic illness such as health, heart. There's about 15 different therapeutic classes that are considered the maintenance. Hormone replacement therapy, blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, asthma, a lot of those different things. If it's something they take for a chronic illness, they get 100 units for one copay. So if you're taking your blood pressure medication and you take one pill a day, you can get 100 pills for a $15 copay. Or actually mine costs $9 for 100 pills. But I can take one pill every day for 100 days. And so, the theory behind this is to get them to be compliant on taking those maintenance drugs. It helps keep them from having more expensive, costly conditions down the road. And so, this is our good drug copay. The 80/20, if it's a $500 medication, they're paying 20%. And there's a lot of $250 and $300 medications out there, and they're paying 20%. So the most they're going to pay is the $75, unless it's something that's not covered at all, and then they pay the full cost. But we have a very limited amount that are non-covered, but there's always something in the brand name or generic that is for that symptom or that disease that's covered. It's just that there's a few like Nexium that are not covered at all, but there are dozens and dozens of other substitutions that they can get.
Now, is there a maximum on RXs per year? I have something here written down, 80/20 to $2,000. Is there a maximum on RXs?
There's no maximum on
Or
our
limit, I guess I
No,
should
there's
say.
no limit. They just have to pay a copay every single time they get the drug. So, are you 80/20 to a maximum of 2,000, and then it's
We're
100
80/20,
for unlimited?
whatever we can do.
Okay. Yeah, and this is, so they don't have a cap at all. So they could pay that. Yeah, that can get, and especially on some drugs, that can get really expensive. The thing that's nice about this plan is you're getting these benefits, but you know exactly what your funding is going to be, because if you, the dollars I quoted you on those comparisons are funding to the maximum, And if you fund that to the maximum, the county is not gonna have any more out of pocket than this at the end of the year. And this is if the claims are the maximum amount, this is the maximum you'll have to pay out. And once you hit those, if we pay more than those dollars, then it all hits the aggregate, we start paying at 100% of all claims at that point. Now, if you choose one of the plans with the lower dollar amount, your aggregate dollar amount's gonna be less than that. But that's the highest, the most expensive plan, so that's the highest dollars. In our self-funded plan, we still have, that's the but our fully insured plan is still on the table too, and okay, why did you refund? I don't want to take it on that stuff, I'm sorry. Your total out-of-pockets on your, on the self-funded, the max funded is like $1,800 for an employee family policy. On our fully insured, this exact same $500, our family rate is $1,472. And fully insured, so the cost for the county to fund the fully insured, you're going to get a little bit, your rates are going to be much cheaper. But that is, if you're funding, I mean, if your claims came in at 100% max, then it's going to be more costly for you to go self-funded. If your cheaper rate per contract is going to be fully insured, but if your claims came in low, then you're better off self-funded. But it's just how you kind of know more about your claims history than I do at this point of what you've done year to year. And we can always look at self-funding in the future too. If you come back in and you have a good year, we see that this is if you want to go for the dollar savings as far as funding. Are you guys hitting your max most years, or are you coming in low?
So self-funding potentially could cost us more.
Well,
based on-
if you fund to the max, and I don't know how much you have in reserves, what you're keeping in reserve, and how much, if you would fund the maximum dollar, or if you would fund at the expected dollar. There's $2 on the front of that folder. On that horizontal sheet that we had out.
This one?
Yep, that one. There's two levels. There's funded the fully, the max funding, and then funded the
Expected.
right. And the expected would be closer to what we think is what you're going to be at. The max funded is to cover all liability towards the stop losses, to cover you at the 125% of what we think you're going to be. And if you have enough money to fund, if you've got money in reserves to put that towards that difference, then you would be able to fund at the lower level. And then if your claims came in, you just continue to add that to your reserves. If the claims came in under expected, then you'd still be able to save those dollars towards your, put them in your reserves and continue to look at and your numbers will come in. If you come in lower, then your stop losses will go down next year, or your your stop losses, cost will remain close to the same or lower if you continue to, if you don't have a lot of people hit the stop loss amount.
Compared to the,
Go to the next one, because that was the shared pay, and this right here, that's the comparable plan that I quoted.
this is just a straight
This is
insurance coverage.
fully
price.
insured.
Fully insured, all right. Well, walk through this with me just so I understand exactly what's going on.
Okay.
Anyhow, all right. The option 1, option 2, option 3, I'm assuming that's the same as
Yes,
deductibles at the top,
Mhm.
right? And
exactly. In option 1, if you look on this grid here, if you look at
Yes.
fixed plus claims,
okay,
that under expected, that would be funded at expected levels. And at max, that's what the premiums would be set at for, if you're funding at 125% of that, so you cover your aggregate.
okay, so first line for comparison, option 1 on a fully insured is $464 and self-insured is $504. There's that much difference. So what you're faced with is a choice, are you willing to take the risk? What's, okay, up here is fixed cost.
Right, fixed costs,
For that same thing would be 181, right?
Yeah, it's on-
So we're assuming the risk of the difference.
right. The premium that you're gonna pay to us, to Blue Cross, on monthly premium, will be that fixed cost up there at the top.
I see.
And then weekly, we will assess, we'll pay claims and bill you for the claims that we pay. And we expect that that's gonna look like this expected number here.
That makes sense to me.
I apologize.
No, it's not you.
Well,
Believe me, I just had to get that in my head. So, all right. Okay.
and
The expected is just your estimate. The max is a solid figure. You know what that
yeah, we
total
know,
risk is.
that is
liability
your
versus-
total risk and liability to us, but it probably, we expect it to come in lower than that, but if it does come in, that's the max. If you fund it to that level, the county's not exposed to any additional risk, because we'll pay after all of those.
For $120 difference, we can assume the risk. Perhaps achieve savings. That's the dilemma. And then you have compared this to our current program. Is that what you've done with this other sheet?
That basically just, as far as premiums, the premiums out. That's what that one sheet was, just to look at what the max funding had to be under there. I looked at the max funding again, and where it needed to be under your current carrier, and what it needed to be under ours. And again, our benefits aren't exactly apples to apples, because our RX benefit's quite a bit richer than what your RX benefit is. If it's an 80/20, that's a significantly cheaper drug rate. I mean, we could, if we were quoting an 80/20 to you, our drug rate would go down quite a bit, because there's a lot more exposure to the member. They pay a lot more of that cost.
It sounds like the demos look better too.
Yeah, our
Am I
dental's much better.
understanding it
Because
right?
we have, they're limited to a $500 per person max, and we're giving each person $1,500, which $500 per person won't even cover a crown. A crown,
But you do pay some of crowns and some.
50% of a crown. Now, $1,500 max would probably cover one crown, but not, it would cover, the root canal. but they wouldn't be able to get 3 crowns in a year. You know, they could get 1 though, but, so $1,500 a better benefit on the drug, or excuse me, on the dental.
And the eye is basically the same.
Eye exam, it looks like you cover a small amount for hardware. We don't cover hardware on this plan, but we do have discounts. Eligible, they can go in and get like 30 to 40% off through our online discounts on frames and lenses, and there's some deeper discounts on contact lenses that they can order online through our system. So they get a discount if there's not a set dot, and I think it was only like $50. It's not, it wasn't very much. They can save that much on our discounts. And I've had people tell me they've saved up to 40% going through Sears and going through Walmart, some of the different carriers that participate in the frames and lenses discounts. I think the other thing that is significant is that there's no additional fixed costs to you. I think it looked like there's a lot of different line item costs that you face as far as the prescription drug. That's all included in if you're paying $1 for every script that's written. Do you know how many scripts you had written last year? If they are with the average, it'd be about 100 a month, 125 a month approximately in additional costs per year that you could be facing on drug charges. Also, that includes our life insurance policy at $25,000 per person. And that, our minimum purchase that we sell with all of our health, and that's through our Advanced Life company. That's a different breakdown of the same figures. I want to also make sure, if you were to go with $1,000 deductible, these numbers down here would change to go to your aggregate dollar amount would be less because the premiums are less. And so the aggregate's figured on max, or the these dollars here, so you take these times contract counts and you get a different aggregate cost.
But the fixed costs are the same.
Right, or if you just chose one, and the reason I left it, if you choose the triple option, we would take these dollars and annualize it, and that's where your aggregate would be, based on which option level each individual chooses.
But our aggregate would be just the sum total of these numbers that you.
Right. Per contract.
They just didn't.
The fixed cost
They just
stays the
didn't add
same.
them up for us.
Right, and I guess I'm sorry, I should have done that.
1,055 RXs.
Okay. So that's an additional cost on this plan that's not on ours.
It's not on ours, I just double checked. We pay our RX claims in conjunction with our medical claims. We don't have an administrative fee, it's wrapped up in the medical administrative.
Also for enrollment purposes, I know that you're on a crunch, but I can have other people come with me and we can sit down and do employee meetings and help with the enrollment. I have additional, couple of other reps that can come out with me and we can sit down and help everybody with applications and get through that process and try to help you get through it as painlessly as possible.
Well, I think we need a little bit of time to digest the numbers.
You need to know pretty soon before the new year, if you like.
Well, pretty soon, because I know that they'll need to get enrollment done one way or the other, whether you stay with us or whether you go with, keep your current carrier. to get enrollment taken care of and make the changes. I had a thought, just went out of my head, so, sorry.
I know the feeling.
Monday. We would want to start doing employee meetings this week or next week, probably. Would be a good, because you want to get it done and wrapped up in time for them, so they'll get ID cards as close to January 1 as possible. We usually like to do 30 days out. They've asked for 30 days to get things set up in our system in Topeka. And at this time of year, when you have 2/3 of our business enrolls in January, it's good, the sooner we get it in, the better. And so we want to try to wrap up enrollment and try to get it done by next week and get it all out of the way. So I would think a decision.
Within a couple of days.
Yeah, would help them and us a lot. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. We didn't really talk about customer service stuff. We probably talked about it with my original proposal. But we have a wonderful customer service department that they're dealing with people in Kansas, in Topeka, or Salina, our 2 call centers. They won another world-class award for customer service, and this is among all, not just insurance industry, but customer service. We're being able to talk to a person, get your issue resolved while you're on the phone. And our provider relations area that works with the doctors, won their 4th class provider, 4th time, first place in provider satisfaction. And this is a national award also, not just for Kansas doctors, but for national. So we do what we do very well and very efficiently. This self-funded brochure tells a little bit more about Blue Cross's self-funding and our coverage. That helps you just, everything we do is included in our fees. We don't have any. And I know all the dollars add up, but everything's done. Anything else I can answer questions for you?
I don't have the numbers in my head well enough to even ask them intelligent questions.
And I know you've got lots of paperwork in front of you. The dental, I went ahead and broke the dental out. That's what he's looking at there on the back of that sheet. That just shows what our dental costs are individually. But like I said, it's a little bit better benefit than what the other dental is. It's included in all the figures I gave you, but I went ahead and broke it out separate. Some carriers, some groups like to charge separate for dental and ours. If you think of a question that you'd like me to, Michelle can email me and I can send you back a response. And once you've had a chance to digest the numbers a little bit better. It looks to me like we have a better quote on the table. Both full insurance, that you can get full insurance, but our supplement is more competitive also. And I know I have a 98% retention rate, 98% throughout the year. So I know that one of the comments last time was that we'll pop you next year on fully insured, but I believe 98% members throughout the year. I have plus groups that I have less. So once we come to the process, we're pretty satisfied. And it is usually rates. I believe it's because the rates are still cheaper, it's something cheaper. But usually it's always based on our utilization. That's what yours is going to be based on your utilization. So I appreciate your time. I'm sorry I had to drag it out again.
Apologize for the noise. Must be getting a new phone line or something.
Okay, I got enough to think about here. Now it gets quiet. Yeah.
Well, we need to, like I said, get a chance to look at the numbers. I can send that one horizontal sheet to you, this one here. I can go ahead and I'll email that to you with these numbers broken down,
We can figure that out.
if you want me to. That way you can kind of see if you Are you thinking you're gonna stay with that $500 deductible, or are you looking at going to 100 deductibles?
Well, we're looking at everything.
That's the,
Haven't made a decision yet.
we have, no, we haven't. The thing that's confusing to me about the self-funding is, you know, with a program like this, the deductible, it's very easy to see. You have a premium reduction as the deductible goes up, and it's direct correlation. It's much harder on self-insured to see that.
And the self-insured rates.
Because your fixed costs are the same.
Fixed costs are the same, it's all about the claims, and the reason the deductible goes up, as the member pays more towards his own deductible, your claims expense is pretty much a direct correlation of how much they're paying, that they're assuming a little bit more of that payment. Because instead of paying out $500 out of pocket, they're paying $1,000, so there's not a lot of difference between the three, because it's just the difference in what the member has to pay out of his own pocket, because the claim, other costs are the same as far as the drug and the dental, and the only difference is the deductible cost to them.
But the theory is that the deductible goes up, there'll be less claims as well.
Right, well,
And how you calculate that in is where you get in the real gray area.
and that's where you get those actuarial people that like to sit and figure all the numbers on probability and expected, but yeah, they have like 28 pages worth of numbers that they feed into this and determine what the probability and what the trends are. They look at how it goes statewide when the deductible changes. They feed everything into it when they do those figures. So, people, they feel that when people know that they're going to assume more of the cost, they're less likely to go in for some services because they know that they're going to have to pay for it. And so in that instance, claims sometimes go down for certain services.
Okay.
Got it?
Late afternoon reading.
Yep.
Will you be able to make a decision before your next commission meeting, or do you have to?
Would you try and do it today or what?
Run pretty.
We're gonna have to,
That's
that's
about
my
five.
life, we don't have any choice, we gotta do something. Today is, we gotta get bills.
I think we're gonna do.
End of the month.
Maybe we could have a little workshop after we have the meeting and do a little bit.
Yeah.
I think it'd be best.
Well, I appreciate your time again. I'll let you get back to your other
All right,
business.
okay, thank you.
Thanks a lot. See you next couple of days or not.
We have your number.
Yes, you do. Thanks, Nita. Thanks, Michelle. Thank you. It's in my book, and Michelle's got it too, so, thank you.
What do you want?
Mine's easy.
Boy, that's not good. Nice greeting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Jeez.
He always does that to me.
Oh,
Last time I
yeah,
was here, he said,
you're
"What are
so
you doing here?"
confused.
I'm like,
You are confused.
got something for everybody but Roger?
Give me that. Come on.
This would be for a computer, from Arnest Computers. What we're gonna do is we need to update, Maryland's computer with the GIS system, with the photography and so forth. Actually, I guess time goes fast, but we're actually using the Tower of Neater's a loaner.
Really?
When Maryland's crashed, it's been over a year now.
Oh, it's been longer than
Yeah, so what we need to do though is this here, with this here computer, because we're getting more photography year after year, and it's just starting to slow down with the pixels and so forth, is we need a little bit better computer. And so, now this would be for the computer, now there would be some other stuff, you know, to hook it up and bring things across. And for the Orion system, the state will take care of that. I just have to call them and they'll take care of the Orion part free of charge. There's no charge on that. But what I was going to ask for is if we could order this computer, and then we would take it out of the appraiser's equipment reserve fund. And right now we have around 22,000, I think, something like that. I can get this would be pretty good, and then I can give Nina's tower back to her if she wants it.
You can keep it.
Well, you're gonna buy from him because he does the tech work up there.
That's correct.
Yeah, so he's, is this, I suppose, competitive price?
It's competitive. I have looked at some others. I mean, you have to get bids from others. You just can't go buy this.
And he's bid, of course, he's building it the way you want it to.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
That makes a little difference, so just pick one off the shelf.
Yeah, well, actually, you couldn't do that for the GIS. You need to have photography and so forth. So. And you know, it's good and bad, you know, the computers, you know, with the newer systems, you know, every system is actually more cumbersome. You know, just like CIC, Orion, everything that has more options, it takes a little longer to do things, but it's because we, as people, want more options now. That's why Orion, that's why we actually have Orion for the appraiser's office, is it has a lot more options. But to do that, it takes a lot more steps. So, and so that's one reason for you need bigger computers all the time.
Now, is this when you do this, you'll have the GIS, or is that in Orion?
No, that's separate. That's Autodesk. That's what we purchase every year. And last year, I actually bought the last 3 years in our budget. Because they actually offered for a discount if you bought it 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. And we bought it for 3 years. So no, it's different. It's kind of like CIS, Autodesk, Orion. But it's the photography that starts slowing it down.
It seems like every year at the conference, we hear more and more about the capabilities of GIS and what it can be done, what it can be used for.
Probably the county that uses it the most, or the most efficient throughout, not just the county, but the cities and so forth, where they use, is probably Saline County. I don't know if you talk to anybody.
I know Dickinson County, which is just next door.
Yeah. Saline's very aggressive. I mean, they know with the GIS, they've made maps with the weights of the bridges and so forth, with all the construction before they send somebody out. You know, an ambulance may can go one way, but a fire truck may have to go another route. I mean, they have all that set up in there just because of the way the bridges and so forth. Or if a bridge is out, everybody knows it. I mean, they actually work very well together.
Yeah.
They play well with others.
Yeah.
But that's what the GIS is for.
Yes.
That's what you need with the GIS. You want everybody to use it. I mean, you really do. You want, you know, it's been years ago now, but you know, we was going to try, you know, fill one out for the bridges. We could make a layer for every bridge in the county. We've never got information, but some cities now, because of people retiring in the cities, they don't have a good map of the manholes or of the lines and so forth. They're making GIS layers left and right before certain people retire, because they don't have a good map, because that person's been there 20, 25 years. When that person leaves, they need to know what's on the, you know, and GIS is an easy way to do it. They just have to have the entities that have that information. They just have to take the time to gather that information and then get it to the GIS person. The GIS person is not going to go out and gather the information. They're going to make the layer and then go from there.
So now there's colleges offering degrees in GIS.
Well, you know, Anita and I, we talked about this a long time ago. You know, a GIS person would be nice. You know, before we found Randy, I thought a good IT person, you know, would bring somebody back from college, you know, but a GIS professionalist is overlooked. I mean, these communities need them, and they don't have to go to Kansas City or Topeka to make a good salary. Can one entity pay a good salary? No, but if you use all your resources and you share one GIS person across the, you know, bigger county, then their salary doesn't come out of one budget. But that's where the GIS needs to work together on that. But anyway,
Need to approve that.
I guess we need the computer first.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll get it first, and
I
then,
make a motion, we go ahead and allow
And then
the
we can go from there.
computer in the amount of $1,111.50. Correct?
That's correct.
I'll second it.
okay, it's been moved and seconded, all in favor, say aye. Motion carried.
Thank you very much. And then I just wanted to follow up on that leadership class that I took.
You got this.
We got done a week ago today, graduated a week ago, so it's very good. I just want to let you guys know if you're going to put somebody in it next year. So, Misty, I thought did a good job.
So worthwhile.
Yeah, it is. It doesn't seem like it at first because it's kind of overwhelming and they're trying to make you think different ways. But by the time you get all completed in it and you have to do a challenge, they request you to try to do a leadership challenge. If you really go into that aggressive and try to do one, and then try to take everything in at the summit, I think it's good. So I just want to let you guys know.
How many did have this year?
We had 16 in ours, in our group. And then when we went to the summit down in Wichita, it was the same week of the KC. There was over 300.
Everybody that comes out seems ready to.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good program. So I'll let you know.
All right.
That's all I have. You
Thanks.
guys have anything for me? Very well. Thank you.
I'd like to call for the executive session for non-elected personnel, on 15.
Okay. Go ahead. I'll make a motion to go to executive session for non-elected personnel for 15 minutes.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded, we go into executive session, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carried. 15 minutes. Risk mapping assessment is just FYI, because they're going to have meetings in January and through April to look at floodplains.
I see.
We need to, I've got a, as far as the ground that the county owns, that we've been doing a cash lease on, I think it'd be good business if we go ahead and publish that.
No, you can.
Huh?
This is
No.
the lease we had with Spares. Joe's looking at it now. Was in there,
No, okay.
so Joe is researching that for
So we put this on hold.
you.
All right, sorry, there's a copy.
This floodplain is not something we deal with now, is
No,
it
they're
something
gonna have
new?
gathering information from February to April, and
Is it something different or unique?
it's FEMA.
Okay,
We like
Rich Beckman called today morning. He said, you guys discussed having lunch with Barton County Commissioners at KC. He thought next Monday at noon in Great Bend at the law enforcement building.
We need to, we didn't have a chance to
Yeah,
discuss
you
this.
mentioned
tonight.
it,
And basically what, at Topeka, we just got together and said, we have a lot of common interests and things we could work on together, and let's get together at a certain time and just discuss it. It's, the idea is to be very informal and just find common ground where we can work together, and maybe even bring Pratt in and Pawnee and Rice counties and things that we could,
He just wanted to know if you
but we were gonna start with Barton.
would be available.
And we talked about it what did you say, on Mondays?
Next Monday at noon at the law enforcement building, which is right across from Penny's,
Yeah.
He said they have
I have no reason to know, but I.
well, they have meeting room
Where
in
that
there.
old funeral home used to
Yeah.
be.
They have a meeting room in there, and it'll be an open meeting, the press can come if they want. And then I think you eat prisoner food, because they have a kitchen there.
Are they gonna feed us?
Yes, it's a new, luncheon meeting. So, how many do I say? 3?
I think, I don't know for sure. It's
Well, that's a long ways ahead for me, but
I was supposed to call him back today.
Tell him 3.
tell him we'll be
You
there.
wanna go?
Yes,
I
you can
can't.
go.
I'm having a grandchild on Friday, so I might
Oh,
not
yeah,
be
how
here.
is that?
On Friday?
Yes.
That one due any day too.
Huh?
That one coming too, any day now.
I know. That's a letter Joe wrote to the hospital with, I think it's the lawyers that are doing the collections for the hospital. He's wanting some information about the collection rate and all that, so.
Good for him.
Okay, Philip has talked with Jeff about the extension, the old extension room, getting it remodeled and stuff. And, he talked to John Mansell, and Mansell told him he could go ahead and cut that, the doorway. Philip's crew can do that. Anyway, so he got some bids on the lumber and, I don't know, a whole bunch of stuff that they're gonna need. He got a bid from Stafford Lumber and St. John Lumber both.
So it's 2x4s, sheetrock doors,
I didn't even have to
Yeah.
look at it.
supplies, joint compound. These aren't the same.
The doors.
On this bid is 3 doors, on this one
I
is.
think it's, we need that letter written.
Wait a
Yeah,
minute.
I think so too, good
One,
to go.
two,
Well, you got 2 different rooms here. You got a west room and a east room. So you gotta combine the 2. I don't know.
Enjoy lawyers thing. You wrote that letter back.
And Doris had some stuff stored down there, kind of some signs, and we saw them over in there. For now, we just moved them over into that little meeting room. I don't know what we're gonna do with their stuff. So, everybody's just running out of space.
Have we started on electrical over there yet?
Lumber, Stafford,
In the annex, the lights? I want to save the lights as salvage. The ones we're going to replace.
This can't be apples to apples.
Because there's no sense in those fixtures being sent to the landfill.
It's the same thing.
It's supposed to be.
The thing that I don't understand is over here, it's listed as 3 doors, but I only see 2 doors on this one. There's a door unit, 1, 2 doors, where that one says 3.
This is quantity,
Three pre-hung doors, pre-hung doors.
Oh, okay.
two,
The pre-hung,
There would have to
Those
be
pre-hung
3.
over there too.
yeah.
You'd have to have 3.
Look at the difference in the price, that's where it's coming from,
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah,
No way he's got a door for $68.
Pre-hung.
I wouldn't think so.
That doesn't,
Doors
something
and
wrong
price.
there.
But you're okay with the crew cutting a hole in the wall for
Yes.
the other door?
I guess. Yeah.
Better than
I'm
the
just
need.
asking.
I can bring Gail down, she's real good at it.
The cement wall?
nothing stops her.
Okay.
I wouldn't
So-
try and put her in
Well, I
prison, she'd
I
find her
understand
way
the price
out.
of it. I think you can certify the price on that.
Yeah.
I think you better check on those doors. One of them is listed at $68 a door, and the other one is $270.
Three of that makes a difference.
Well, he said that,
And so
he
there's
said the
there's
door
a
price
mistake.
was no, it's not a mistake. These are solid core, which Philip didn't want solid core, and these are not.
I don't think you're gonna find a pre-hung door for
I don't know.
$60.
I don't know.
I mean, that's just pretty darn reasonable. Unless they saved them from the annex and didn't tell everybody about it. What happened to all those doors?
I don't have any idea. This is Philip's still on mine.
That would have been nice.
Well, it's obvious that one bid is drastically, well, half of what the other bid is.
Yeah, it's, and some of it, there's some difference in lumber prices and stuff, but not that much. Most of it comes from those doors.
I would like for him
Can't tell with
to check on that again, because, you know, we still have paint left over from whatever it was when it was gallons, it became 5 gallons.
So you wanted to check on what?
Just check on,
Well, these are not solid core, these are solid core. That'll make a big difference.
Yeah, but he
in
could-
price.
he-
well, to
he could
make
price
it
the others
fair,
out too,
then he
though.
should
Well,
reprice.
that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's repriced that.
You have to reprice it.
It should,
All right, we'll
yeah,
table
by,
that.
but, yeah, they should be priced on the same.
Same
Yeah.
thing.
Same.
Not
If
fair
we're
to
do-
them.
if we're wanting bids and we want apples to apples.
Okay. The dumpster, it's full, they haven't been dumping it.
Are we gonna do that?
It
over
needs to
here
be
back?
moved. Somebody needs to talk to Terry Welch.
When can we get it moved?
We can't probably get another thing in it.
I thought we got to move right back here by this,
Well,
that's back there, because he's by the door right there.
that's what I was looking at.
Where they could go out, they go out that door on the east side there and then, use that for the dumpster there.
Philip and Ryan were suggesting we actually put it on the west side of the water, of the air conditioning unit. It would be easier, and like, it's a few more steps maybe, but he wanted, they thought it would be better on the west side than on the east.
So they could back up and hook onto it.
Yeah, for the truck to have.
So,
So, yeah, we want, what do we,
Can't Phil come down, put 4 foot and move it over there? Someone? Pick it up, move it over there? I should be able to.
onto a pickup, I guess.
Huh?
I got a chain in the
and are you
pickup.
going to block off this alley?
Yes.
How are you gonna do that?
You remember what he called them?
No, I don't, but they're, it's like what you see on the turnpike or 4 lanes where there's a concrete deal that's 36 inches tall. And you're just gonna check on the prices of those, maybe just put 2 there. You know, you don't have to put them tight, just separate them.
Where,
So
I mean, how far down the alley do you want, I mean, where do you want them at?
I would say right at the edge of the building.
Well, then, you're gonna have to, I don't know, so people don't go around them and still drive down there, you're gonna have to
Right.
bump it. From the air conditioner clear across, is that what you're talking?
We think so, yeah, we were talking about.
Because there are 6.
There's 4 cars parked there this morning.
There's
I'm like,
6
you guys have
So
all
you're
stopped.
talking the concrete divider things?
Yeah.
But apparently they unscrew, so that you can, if you need to get a vehicle in and out, they unscrew and you can drive down the alley that way. That's what he was saying. If we just put the little curb bumpers up there,
Is it gonna look, what's it gonna look like? Not big old, just old, not old concrete, is it?
well,
We got paint.
I think, when I put
I'm
some
not
posts,
sure what they are. I can't envision them, to be honest.
I mean,
with
yeah,
you.
they got, you put posts up there,
But the posts you
around the
can't.
park over here, and you just unscrew the posts like at the fair and everything, just.
Oh, well, I guess that's true too.
Yes, you set a post inside of it, and pick it up, set down there.
Draw me a, I want.
Yeah, I think that'd be, so I put that, maybe I put post rows in there, where you
I
just slip it
can't
inside the other
visualize
one.
this.
I think we ought to go out there.
Well, the things on
Look at it
when they
when
divide
Well,
the
let's get
highway.
Philip up here so he knows
All
exactly
right.
what you're talking
All
about.
right.
Okay. Oh, the Christmas holidays and New Year's, the personnel policy says if it falls on a Sunday, we get Monday off, correct? I mean,
Oh, it's actually,
that's what we, so for Christmas and New Year's, we'll get the 26th and then the 2nd. We'll be closed. I've had several people ask, so I just wanted to clarify that,
it's been policy.
yeah. So do I have to call Terry Welch and tell him we've moved the dumpster, or will one of you? I hear he's not.
Because you can't get down the alley. Too bad. He'll be happier when he doesn't have to go down the alley.
Well, see, he was just doing a straight shot. But now he's.
Well, how do they pick that up?
Huh?
Doesn't it?
With the truck. It doesn't-
Yeah, but the way it's setting, there's no way he gets his truck.
They pull it out.
Hold on, please, back.
So we can put it in a position where he can just drive right up to it and he'll be happier about that, I would think.
I don't.
Maybe not.
Or you can back up to it.
Does it go over the top, I guess is what I'm asking, or does it dump in the back?
Tap on back.
Let's see if we can't get Phil to get her to do it in there, by the way.
Get it out of there and get that little wooden ugly fence torn down and that cleaned up right there. There's no reason to keep that fence there, is there? As far as I can tell, it's pretty ugly.
All right, I got some ad in the base I need to go print off. So you could recess and you could do your vouchers for
All right. We'll recess.
More
Tax abatements.
Are these mistakes or are they?
Well, what most of them are is like, most of them are oil. The oil company send in the wrong renditions with the wrong names, then we have to correct it.
So it's just a correction?
Yes, the tax dollars haven't changed, it's just changing names on tax statements, basically. You have
Do
to
credit.
abate the old one off and then add the new one
Well, I
too.
wonder why we had so many.
Because it's tax time, we always do.
I know, but last year we didn't get done with these until like August.
No, we won't this year either. It's just the nature of the beast with the tax statements.
It's just changing.
But we're not changing the.
Not the
taxes
dollars,
or-
no. You're just abating off one and either splitting it 15 ways or adding it.
Oh, all right. You want to see them?
I'll show you things today.
I move that we approve the tax abatements.
I second it.
All right, it's been moved and second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carried. All right, Philip, you got a revised bid there, or you want to?
Sure. Put two bids here, or two quotes for redoing the extension office for the sheriff's department. One from St. John Lumber for $1142.94, and one from Stafford Lumber for $951.90.
And we're doing the same thing.
Remember apples to apples?
Yes, everything's the same. Looks like the Stafford is, what, $200 less?
Stafford still wins, huh?
So I make motion to approve the bid from Stafford Lumber.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and second. We accept the bid from Stafford Lumber. All in favor, say aye. Aye, motion carried. All right. We get the trash issue resolved. Right?
Yeah, it's been motion carried.
And
And we know where we're gonna put it, and what about our bumpers?
Well, you need to go out here and show.
Yeah,
it.
I find it too. I put that there for I talk to these guys.
Okay.
so can we adjourn?
Yes.
All right, anything else? Here's the
Check signs on
Thursday.
Thursday. I need two of you. First.
Okay.
I think Thursday, I don't know, until I get home.
Let me know.
Okay.
Just let me know.
Okay.
I may want to go to Lacey's ball game Thursday. I mean, I know I want to.
Okay, so next Monday, Martin, go to Great Bend,
Yeah, do you want the car for that?
take the county car.
Oh, when are we gonna have a road tour while you're here? I mean, I'm open now, anytime. Like it's somewhere beside the sewer though. Somewhere new for me.
Well,
Everybody from St. John comes up there and eats anyhow.
There's 7 restaurants in Sanford now, so.
How many?
they go to the new place.
7?
What's in it?
Have cinnamon cream pie.
Where's that at?
Where Ramon used to be.
What's it
Chili
now?
peppers and the
Yes,
gathering.
Cinnamon?
if you go there, have some.
There's a good great
Big
band,
cinnamon.
Oh, well.
Great.
Okay, we're going to adjourn, and then we're going to go check about the trash receptacle, and then we'll come back and do a workshop on the insurance, okay?
All right, okay.
All right, we're adjourned.